Alright, now we're going to go over average rate of change. So we have our function and it wants to know what the rate of change is between x equals 1 and x equals 2. So I'm going to make that my 1x and my second x. That way when I plug in x1, the output will be a y1. So I plug 1 in here. And the output is a negative 13. Then I plug in a 2, and our y2 will equal a negative 23. For average rate of change, I like to think of slope, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which equals negative 23 minus negative 13 over 2 minus 1. Two negatives become a positive, so we get negative 10 over 1. And there's our rate of change. On 17, we have x is equal to negative 1, x equals 0. Those will be my first x, second x. Now when I plug negative 1 in, I get negative 3 squared, which is 9, plus 1 is 10. And when I plug a 0 in, I get 2 squared, 4, plus 1 is 5. Oops, y1, y2. I have to correspond. There we go. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 is equal to 5 minus 10 over 0 minus negative 1, which makes it a positive. 5 minus 10 is negative 5 over 1. Next one, when we have it written as an interval, these values are not x and y. If it were parentheses, then it would be a point. But because of the brackets, we're going to have x1 equals 1, and this will be x2. Now, I'm going to plug the 1 in and find what my y values will equal. So 1 minus 2 squared plus 1. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Negative 1 squared becomes a positive 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Plug in a 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. 0 squared is 0 plus 1 is 1. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 is equal to 1 minus 2 over 2 minus 1. Negative 1 over 1. There's our rate of change. On our last rate of change, it asks for 2. It asks you to say for g, what is the value from x equals 5 to x equals 9? So I'm going to look for where it's 5, and then I'm looking at g of x. So I'm looking at the g of x is at 3, so 5, 3, and then 9 is at 9, 0, 9, 0. Y minus y over x minus x. 0 minus 3 over 9 minus 5, which equals negative 3 over 4. Next on the question it says average rate of change for f of x from x equals 5 to x equals 9. First x, second x, that means I'll have y1 and a y2. When x is a 5, f of x is 0. When f of x is a 9, f of x is 8, 9, 8. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 equals 8 minus 0 over 8 minus 0 over 9 minus 5. 8 divided by 4 equals 2.